Warning. The Dragon Between podcast may contain language and adult humor that is unsuitable for those 13 years and younger. Viewer discretion is advised. You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every Sunday and are released on the following week. You can find the video version on the YouTube channel. And if you like what you see and hear, feel free to drop us a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. Thank you for listening, and now on with the show.
After Vaughn is dispatched by Zito, the characters found themselves worn down by the churning chaos cultist and the might of the enormous elemental called Jabal Almat. The Kithrian elder elemental then began to tear off chunks of its own body and hurl them to the ground, creating gargoyles that immediately attacked the party. As the group dealt with the cultist and mutant swiftly, a gargantuan burrowing worm suddenly emerged from the still open portal and plunged under the rocky cavern floor. The worm soon emerged near Reuven and Music, gobbling down the armored cleric. In response, Music polymorphed the creature into a tiny turtle, creating a chain reaction as the creature's form shrank drastically and exploded in a shower of gore, freeing Reuven from its gullet. The worm knocked the Warforged bard unconscious in response and wrapped its barbed tentacles around Reuven, intent on swallowing him once again. The party's artificer then found himself knocked unconscious by one of the gargoyles, and the stony creature immediately began to carry Zito's body towards the Kithrian portal. As Red continued to hold off the giant elemental, single-handedly protecting her companions from its wrath, yet another portal suddenly formed on the battlefield. A strange armored warrior then rode forth on the back of a flaming two-wheeled vehicle, making way towards the fallen Zito. The warrior quickly dispatched a gargoyle carrying Zito's limp body and began to protect the kobold. As the churning chaos began to turn their attention to this newcomer, the battle for the fate of Hearthholm continued. Good enough for government work.
Would you guys like me to share the map again?
Please.
All right.
Yes, please.
It might help.
Boom. Hopefully it loads okay for y'all.
Yep.
And I will go ahead and advance us to the next round. All right. So let's see. Pathfinder 2, seeing the new individual who has appeared on the battlefield, takes aim with his rifle and is going to attempt to blast our good friend, well, somebody's good friend, Samael, by firing its rifle at him twice. The first attack misses, and the second attack misses. And oh, I almost forgot. Samael, you are receiving at this time, after these bolts blasted the ground around you, careening off of the stony ground within this cavern, you hear, under the sound of the grinding, churning monolith that you see just off to the southeast a ways on the raised dais, this raised area, you hear this message in your head, which I will whisper to you. And you'll be able to react to that on your turn. In the meantime, Lathana, it is your turn. Lathana, what is your passive perception?
That's going to be a...
Also, your audio suddenly became booty. It started out great. I don't know if it switched, the source switched, or what.
A 17.
Hey, there we go. Passive perception 17, you say?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You are hearing a strange sound. Like, it sounds like fingers rapping on metal. Like multiple fingers rapping on metal, close to where you are. Like, it seems to be echoing from this open-topped elemental train car from somewhere within, one would assume.
Creepy horror movie vibes. Alright. I can't see much from where she's at. Is there an entrance to this car?
No, it's an open-topped container. It is, like, you tried to climb it before, but you didn't roll high enough on your climb check.
Lethana will attempt to climb again and investigate.
Okay, make a strength check, please.
Come on, dice, don't fail me now. So average.
Believe it or not, that is enough to climb the side of this.
Hey!
So as you heave-ho climb up into it, looking inside, you just see box after box of containers, some open-topped, others closed, barrels, sacks, all sorts of what look like some kind of strange equipment. Open-top boxes of crystal like vials, like equipment that you would see an herbalist use, or possibly an artificer. And amongst all of that, you see a humanoid-sized centipede-like creature below you, looking up at you with glowing scythe-like talons. Looks very familiar to you. It looks identical to the creature that leapt out of the body of Juke the Wraith. And you can see that it is currently standing over a familiar sword that once belonged to your barbarian friend Red. And it's looking your way. So from your perch at the top of this thing, you now see this thing, and it is eyeing you.
That's right, Lethana will untarget the earth elemental, which I don't know where that is. Oh, here it is.
I think you've also got the Myrmidon and the other elemental still targeted. Let me clear those for you so you can just target that creature, if that's what you intend on doing. And you should be able to target him again.
She pulls out her bow and takes a shot.
All right. Go right ahead. The multiple eyes of this insect-like creature glittering. And unfortunately, that's a natural one. You kind of a little unsteady on your feet. It's a strange sensation, perched precariously on the top of this container box. As you fire an arrow at the creature, it bounces off of its carapace, not penetrating.
Do I fall in?
No.
With that kind of shot.
If I was a jerk DM, maybe I'd make you do an acrobatics check to see if you fell in. I'll tell you what the heck? Go ahead and roll an acrobatics check.
I can show off my skills, maybe.
Show off those skills. Hey, an 18. You wobble a bit, but you're able to keep your composure, even rolling a natural 1 and missing your target.
Alright, while she's kind of gaining her steps, she can still make another shot, so they're covered. She gets 2 more shots left, because
okay.
She's special snowflake.
Special snowflake. That is a 25 hits. That is 15 piercing magical damage to Juke the Soreva Korai.
She'll take one more shot.
Okay. The second attack, 26, also hits. And that is 14 piercing magical damage to the creature. You hear the chitinous plates are pierced by your arrows as they thunk, thunk, one after another into its back. And it lets out a squealing noise that sounds like nails on a chalkboard in your head.
She attempts to squeal back, and then that's the end of her turn.
Okay. All right, so just so we're clear, you're standing perched precariously on top of the container, still with your bow trained on this creature. Looking out, you can see the mountain that walks Jabal al-Mat pounding into your companions. It's really hard to see much of anything of your friends. You just see enemies scattered across the battlefield, and a giant wiggly worm off in the distance into the northwest. And Red, it is your turn.
Right.
You've had a month to think about it. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna attack recklessly.
Recklessly. Go for it.
Alright, don't fail me now, sword.
Hey, that's a 22.
Alright.
And that is 17 slashing magical damage to the mountain that walks.
I'll do it again.
Okay. A 23 also hits as you cut into Azure Edge, hearing this hum of the blade as it carves sections of its legs off of it. The creature takes another 17 slashing magical damage from you.
And that's my turn.
That's
Actually,
your turn?
wait, health potions is a bonus action, correct?
That is correct. If you have a
All right,
healing potion and you'd like to use your bonus action, go for it.
Yes, I will use my bonus action. Healing 2d4 plus 2. Do I just drag it onto me, or do I actually have to roll for those?
I think you roll it.
Okay. So that's
4 plus...
plus
Four.
2, so
Plus 2.
6.
So you get 6 health back, so you can adjust that manually if you'd like.
Alright.
Okay.
And now I'm done.
Alright, you're just going to stand there defiantly staring at Jabal al-Mat?
Yes.
Okay. Reuben, you are currently blinded and restrained inside of the tummy of a worm.
Can I grab feel for music?
You can attempt to feel for music to see if he's in there with you. Make a perception check. With well, it should roll at disadvantage because you were blinded.
Oh, it didn't roll at disadvantage. I'm gonna roll it again.
That's okay. You can just roll again. Hey,
20.
A 20 is still good. You reach out and you touch what you think is a leg. It's a thick calf muscle. If it were made out of non-organic matter.
I'm gonna cure wounds at level 5.
Go for it. Oh, you might want to untarget the correspond worm. You're still targeting it. Yeah, you're still targeting it. Oh, you're still targeting it. Would you like me to fix that for you?
Yeah, for some reason I went on target.
That's okay. Let me just go ahead. There we go. Alright, it should be only targeting music now. Okay. Music. Your eyes snap wide awake. You are blinded and restrained inside of this creature's body. You were unconscious, and now as you come to consciousness, you are feeling the constriction of the muscles of the interior of this creature, and you're also feeling the heat from within this creature. Let me just double check there. Let's see. Reuven, before you do anything else, I just need to double check something. Nope, it happens on the worm's turn. Okay, never mind then. All right. So Reuven, that was your turn, unless you want to do something as a bonus action.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. 11 plus 25. What's that 25 from?
My level 5.
Oh, okay.
11 was just at level 1, but I couldn't. I don't know how to add dice. So.
Yeah, that's not how that works. You gotta roll those individually. You don't. But yeah, what you do is you left click on the blood dot, like for the heal, in the spells on your action tab, and then you right click to add dice as you're holding left click before you roll it. But that's all good. So that would be 11 plus 25. And we'll take that 8 off.
Yeah, sorry, I was just testing it out.
That's okay. So we're going to put the 8 back on him. No, actually, plus 25. Because again, because you rolled that separately, so that means that he's down 65 instead of 90. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just adjust that. There we go. Does that complete your turn?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right, so the... Oh, never mind. Huh. I just realized that these Pathfinders are essentially immune to prone. That's crazy. All right, so this guy is going to pop up, and he's going to begin moving across the battlefield. Pathfinder number 1 will run over here. And scanning around, he looks and he sees you, Red, and he is going to take out his Morning Star. And have it at the ready. He's looking nervously up at Jabal Lamont and looking at you, and he has his Morning Star at the ready. Doesn't look like he's going to rush up on you quite yet, though. On Juke's turn, let's see. Juke is going to skitter up the side of the wall. You again hear that weird nails on metal sound, that drumming noise, Lithana, as it rushes up towards you, gets in your face, and its eyes begin to glow in this weird kaleidoscope of light. And I need you to make a charisma save.
Noted.
Okay. The creature's body, you could tell there was like almost like a heat shimmer as it seemed to like it was getting ready to begin to demanifest in front of your very eyes, and your head was suddenly racked in pain. You felt as though it was attempting to possibly possess you.
Ew.
But you were successful in your save, and that is the end of its save. It is now in your face. Its glowing blades now waving in front of you like it's getting ready to attempt to attack you with them. That's the end of its turn.
We are having a staring contest.
You won so far. Zito, make a death save for me. Actually, no. Oh, I guess he didn't heal you yet, did he? You didn't heal him yet, did you, Samael?
Not yet. It's coming on this turn.
Gotcha. Okay, that is a success. You are one step closer to being stable, Zito. On the Earth Myrmidon's turn, it is going to attempt to attack you with its maul, Red Sharpclaw. Its first attack is a hit with a 22. Let's see. It will smack at thee with 5 damage, reduced down from 10. Actually, I should see if it got its Thunderous Strike back. It did not. On its second attack, it strikes at thee, but misses with a 13. And it continues to stand there ready to wail on you once again. Gargoyle number 2 is going to attempt to scratch at thee with its Lee Press-On Nails. And it does so, but misses. Actually, nope, that's a miss. It then attempts to bite you, but also misses. Not doing too well. Music. You are blinded and restrained within the belly of the beast. What would you like to do?
Well, let's see. Just bear with me. I'm trying to figure out what my abilities are here.
Okay. Would you like to hold an action, or...
No, I'm pretty quick on making decisions. What do I need to do to try to escape? Do I need to make a save or a check?
You need to inflict over, I believe, 30 damage to this creature in one turn in order to try to force a con save on it. Let me double check on the amount of damage. I'm pretty sure it's 30. Let's see. Yep, 30 damage on a single turn.
All right, then I will use Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Wait, it's on a single turn. It doesn't stack up. Like if I do 15 this turn and 15 next turn, that doesn't count, right?
Correct. It all has to be done in the same turn during this round.
Okay. Can I just dump the bottle of Hero's Blood out?
You can attempt to find it in your pack while you're blinded.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. Make a perception check with disadvantage to see if you can obtain your bottle from your pack. Okay. You have something in your hands. It feels like a bottle.
Okay, let's dump it.
Okay.
It's either that or Kieran Zeus. Either way, this thing's in trouble.
Well, you know the difference between a jar and a bottle. You're pretty sure before you dump it out, just to let you know, you have other things in your inside of your pack that are bottle-like.
The filter of love.
Yeah.
The jar of everlasting pretzels.
Yeah.
And some oil. So all those things sound interesting to me.
All right, I'll tell you what. Roll a d4. On a 1, it's oil. On a 2, it's a filter of love. On a 3, it is... What is that? It's a Hero's Blood. And on a 4...
If it's the jar of everlasting pretzels, he's getting ready to explode and we're coming flying out.
Yeah, it's the jar of everlasting pretzels if it's a 4. That's a 1, so you open it up, and in a moment of glee, you're like, could it possibly be it? Is this going to happen? Is it going to regurgitate us? But it's just oil. You're not sure if it is, but you're not getting the reaction that you were expecting. You're not feeling a muscle contraction like that would be akin to coming out in one direction or the other. If this thing this thing possesses a butthole, if you will.
Well, that's okay. I'm going to I'll just wait till the next turn and try again.
Okay. Samael the Reaper. Look at that. It's your turn again, Kevin.
Wow, weird. Okay. I'm gonna use Lay on Hands and restore 30 points of hit points to Zito.
Okay. Zito. You are down 34 hit points now. You are no longer unconscious. And you are currently, as your eyes begin to flicker, you stare up into the eyes of an old companion, an armored warrior who you haven't seen for quite some time, smiling down at you.
Oh, this is the place where I pictured and then where we'd end up dying.
We need you back in the fight, buddy. I'm gonna throw him down on the ground because I'm still holding him, right?
You're still cradling him like a baby or a toddler.
I'm gonna attempt to move his character to show you where I'm trying to toss him to.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'll move my character where I'm trying to toss him to. Is that possible to put him over there?
I'll tell you what, yeah, you can, as part of your movement, you can move him directly behind you.
Okay.
If you used your action correct to heal him.
Yes.
So you can move him directly behind you as part of your action.
Okay, and then I'm gonna announce out to the battlefield. Everybody, we need to strike at the monolith portal with the Prophet's war pick, and then we need to get the hell out of here.
The war pick he referring to, the one that Vaughn was carrying before Zito turned him into a mud pie.
And I'm gonna say, where's the war pick? And then I'm gonna end my turn.
Okay. Let's see. Hearing this, Jabal Almat, looking at this a newcomer, he is going to begin. He roars, and he says in this deep, bellowing voice, "They must not be allowed to close the portal." He'll take an opportunity attack from you, Red, as he begins stomping away.
Oh!
That's a crit.
That is a crit. Holy crap.
Nice.
That's 29 slashing critical magical damage to Jabal Almat as he stomps forward, looking down at you, Samael. And he is going to attempt to slam the hell out of you with a slam attack. In response to your statement about the war pick.
All right.
So we'll see if he actually does so first. Let's see. I'm gonna target Samael the Reaper. There we go. And he just reaches down with his impossibly long arm, bashing at you, or attempting to at least, hitting with a 24, doing that's 32 bludgeoning magical damage to you.
As a reaction, I would like to cast Hellish Rebuke.
Okay, go for it. Well, you're technically not 5 feet away from him. He has a range of... is Hellish Rebuke a ranged thing?
60 feet.
Okay, gotcha. So it's within... anything within 60 feet?
Anything within 60 feet of me that does damage to me when I cast Hellish Rebuke has to make a DC 16 Dex save or take 2d10 fire damage.
All right, well, in that case, let me make that dexterity save.
I can actually cast it on him directly.
Yeah, go right ahead. All right, he fails. At 6 damage. Hellish Rebuke, you dare touch me?
Yep.
As this magical infernal flame begins coalescing and scattering across the form of Jabal. It doesn't seem to really be doing much, and in response it rears back its other fist and comes down to punch you directly, trying to pound you into the ground with its fist. 24 hitting once again, as it does 37 bludgeoning magical damage to you. This thing hits hard. It hits like a Mack truck, apparently.
Yeah, it does.
And that is the end of its turn. On the Earth Elemental's turn, let's see. Seeing the advantage of you reeling from the attacks of Jabal Amat, it is going to attempt to wail into you, but it misses with its first attack. It rears back and attempts to hit you once again, but misses, rolling at 22. 22 apparently does not connect.
Nope.
That is the end of its turn. The gargoyle on its turn is still. You're just beset on all sides. First it was red, and now it is Samael the Reaper. It begins to claw at you with its Lee press on nails, but misses, hilariously so, and then tries to bite you, but rolls a natural 1. Earth Myrmidon 2 is going to attempt to get its thunderous strike back. Let's see. That is not what I needed. That's a 4. But it will whack-a-mole you with its maul. It will at least attempt to. But it misses on both of its hits. On Corespawn turn, Corespawn Worm, well, there's only one. On its turn, let's see. Both Music and Ruben take 66 fire damage. So I will drop that onto you guys manually.
And we're dead again.
That's assuming that Fantasy Grounds catches up. Oh, look at that. Ruben disconnected. Can't run away from this damage, bro. I guess I should probably.
I'm still here.
I guess I should probably put this effect on you guys. That way it just rolls automatically each turn.
What affects that? Death?
No, the fire. The fire effect. Alright, and then I will roll this damage.
Oh, 6d6. I thought you said 66 fire damage. I was like, holy shit.
For some reason, it's not rolling, so I'll have to manually roll that. Because it just kept putting the effect on Ruben over and over again. It was like, 66, 66, 66. So we'll take that off.
Yeah.
He'll take mine also.
All right, so we'll just go ahead and manually roll that then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For some reason, that shit is not showing up. So instead, I will roll it in the dice chat. I'll roll it with this one. Here we go. That's, I'll show that to you guys. 29 fire damage. So if Ruben and Music would like to adjust your health by 29, please. That should put you guys right on the edge of death, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Ruben's
I'm
unconscious. Dead. Well, you're not dead, but you are unconscious.
All right. I'm down to 36 hit points. And I'm pretty sure I typed that wrong too, didn't I?
Yeah.
I went the other direction. Yeah, because it turned green. Hold on.
It's 34 plus 65 plus 29.
Yeah, sorry.
Math is hard.
Ain't it though? Well, I mean, my math was correct. I just went the wrong direction.
So yeah, you're down 94. There you go. Okay. And then the creature is going to burrow under the surface of the cavern floor, disappearing. With Reuben and music along with it. And Pathfinder 1's turn. It is going to rush up behind you, Red. And it is going to attempt to wail on you with its Morning Star. Its first attack connecting with a 22. It deals 5 damage reduced down from 11. It then attempts to whack you in the head once again. Also connecting with a 19. And this time dealing 4 damage reduced down from 8. That's the end of its turn. Zito, it is your turn. Glancing around the battlefield, you have no idea where Reuven and Music are. All you know is you heard Samael. Samael, you said this before or after Zito was awake?
After he was awake.
Okay, so you just heard Samael say, get the war pick and hit the monolith and run like hell. And you know, because you killed him, that Vaughn's mud pie body is just past where Red is.
Alright, Zito is going to... Like, am I able to see the war pick from where I am?
You cannot. It's really hard to see anything with all of these bodies in front of you. But you know where his body is, and you know that it was hanging on his belt when you killed him, before he turned to mush.
Alright, I'm going to activate my wings of flying and fly into the air where I can find a fin.
Okay. The creature is 50 feet tall. The one that is directly next to you.
So, would that trigger an attack of opportunity if I do that?
If you try to get away from its reach, it has a reach of 15.
It's that's fine. I'm actually going to do Misty Step.
Okay.
And go to body.
All right. How far is the range on your Misty Step?
30 feet.
You have plenty of room to get to the body. I will draw a circle on the map where the body is, or where approximately I remember it being.
Yep.
Okay.
So still good.
All right. So you'll take an opportunity attack from Jabal Almont. We'll see if it can connect with you.
And my Misty Step over there?
I'm sorry, Misty Step. He can't get one. I thought you were flying. I apologize.
Oh, just to get over the elemental.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah, Misty Step does not trigger an opportunity attack. All right. You're now standing above the ruined mess of the armor and robes of this fallen Luther Vaughn, and you see amongst the muck, you see the pick-like object that was hanging on his belt.
I'm going to grab it.
Okay. You now have it in your possession.
Alright. Now that I have that, I'm going to run towards the portal.
Okay.
Using my fly speed, I'm just going to end there.
Okay. You haven't reached the portal yet.
It's progress.
It is progress. Much more so than you thought you would have. All right, on the Juke, the Wraith's turn, it is going to attempt to multi-attack you with its Mind Blades, Lithana. Its glowing blade-like pincers that its arms terminate in. So we'll see if it can actually hit you at first. see. Do. Whoops, I think... What's your AC? I think I just rolled... I clicked on the wrong one.
It is a 18.
Okay. Yep. I definitely did the wrong one. That was my mistake, not yours. Okay, it actually did connect. It should have been a +2 to that attack. So that first attack is that's 14 force and psychic damage to you. Its second attack with its second glowing blade is a 22, which also connects, and you take 9 force and psychic damage as these blades cut into your armor. You can feel the cold touch as it pierces your skin, and we'll see if it gets its ability back. It did not. It rolled a 4. That's the end of its turn. Red, on your turn, you watched as the towering mountain that walks turned its attention away from you and began striding towards the newcomer, bashing into him. You just see debris and rocks and things flying up in the air from the impact as its huge fists are slamming into the ground near and around where he is located. You're also, again, glancing around the battlefield, becoming aware that there are 2 of you missing. You haven't seen Reuven or Music or heard them in a while.
Man. This sucks. Alright, well...
And you also are aware that the newcomer yelled out, "Get the war pick, hit the monolith." And glancing to your right, you see the diminutive form of Zito as he is skittering across the rocky, craggy battlefield going towards the monolith with something in his hand.
I'm looking at my 1 hit point very nervously.
Aww.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out Azure Edge, and I'm just gonna use my last hurl to throw it at Jabal.
Okay.
From where I'm standing.
That unfortunately is a miss.
But it comes
Jabal
back to me.
comes back to you. It whiffs. Just as you thought it was about to make a sweet connection to the stony skin of this 50-foot tall monster, it does not connect, and it comes back to you.
Dang. Fudge. What to do? Okay, I'm just gonna lash out at the Pathfinder behind me then.
Okay. That is a hit. 25 definitely hits the Pathfinder behind you, as you deal a heavy 21 slashing magical damage to him. He just yells out, "Fuck!" as you whack him with Azure Edge, sinking it into his chest, and he's like, barely able to like comprehend what you've just done to him.
I didn't even look at him. I just was mad and just freaking flung it backwards.
He is hanging off
well.
the end of your axe.
Oh, okay. That's it.
As you
Wait,
pull the axe
nope,
free from
all
his
that.
body. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
Okay. The Earth Elemental Myrmidon's turn. It is going to attempt to grapple you. It will make a strength versus strength check.
All right.
It rolls a 12.
Strength.
You could also use acrobatics if that is a better stat for you.
No. Oh, I get advantage on those too.
Yes. 17. It just stupidly reaches out with its big, clunky looking hand, its free hand, not carrying a weapon, and tries to grab you, and you just easily back away as you're pulling the axe out of the chest of the Pathfinder, this sickening sucking noise as the blade comes out of its chest. And the Myrmidon looks like it's going to double down. It looks like it's going for a bear hug the next time. Gargoyle number 1 is going to continue scratching at Samael, or at least attempting to. So far, it has not been able to connect at all, and it doesn't look like it's going to be able to do so this turn either. And I like to remind you, I rolled a 16 plus 4, and I still couldn't hit Samael the Reaper.
Yeah.
And Lithana, it is your turn. What would you like to do? You got a big centipede with swords for arms, glowing swords for arms, slashing into you. And you felt those hits. They hurt.
Yeah, they did hurt it. Alright, Lithana will run out. She'll kind of skid. Well, I guess just. Is she still on the ledge?
She is still on the ledge, perched there with the centipede-like Korai staring her down.
Alright, she will jump backwards. And
okay.
I know she'll take an opportunity attack.
You're gonna leap down?
Yes. And then her goal is to move.
Make an acrobatics check before you do so.
Sure.
Okay, you easily leap down, taking no damage from the fall. However, the centipede-like creature is going to attempt to take an opportunity attack against you. So we'll see if that actually connects. Let's see. It is going to attempt to slice you with its. What's going on? Oh, there you are. It's going to attempt to slice at with its glowing sword-like appendage as soon as Fantasy Grounds catches up with itself. Let's see. That is a miss. A 15 totally misses.
Phew.
As you scamper across the battlefield away from the centipede-like creature, it hisses at you as you do so. And you see Zito rushing towards this monolithic, grinding, churning Kithrian node. Before you, you see enemies all pounding on Red. Red is wrecked. She's coated in blood, scratches, and cuts. And you can just see an armored warrior who is getting wailed on as well from these other creatures around you. But you don't see Reuven or music.
She says her friend Red not looking so good. She will get right next to her and pull out a healing potion ready to give it to her next turn, right? Because you can't do anything.
Well, you used you leapt down. That was part of your movement.
Right.
So you can you move. Did you double move or use a regular move?
Double move.
Okay, so yes, on your next turn, you can administer the healing potion to her.
Right. This turn, her role is punching bag. End of turn.
Gotcha. All right. Pathfinder 2 is going to attempt to fire at Samael the Reaper once again with his rifle. Samael, you hear this as this rifle attempting to, that was almost a natural 20. Actually, what am I doing? He's got a frickin' mountain standing his way. He doesn't do nothing to you. I'm sorry.
He's shooting me between its legs.
No, he doesn't see you at all. So he's going to attempt to climb down. Let's see, this will be hilarious because the other guy tried to climb down and it didn't do anything. So we'll try a climb check. Okay, yeah, he rolled an 18, so he climbs down the 20-foot tall pole that he's on, and he is going to reposition himself. And that's all he does on his turn. And music. It is your turn. You are still within the belly of this creature. You're feeling the vibrations as it is moving through the rock. You don't know this, of course, but it feels different. There is a new vibration feeling, a feeling of movement going on. What would you like to do? You're also...
Well, let's dig back into the pack.
You're also aware that you are hurt really bad. And Reuven is no longer moving next to you.
Yeah, well, let's take it with us.
Okay.
I'm going to dig in my pack.
Go for it.
Perception, correct?
Perception with... I'll say it's still with disadvantage because you are still blind. And you cannot see what you're feeling for. Okay. Go ahead and roll a d4. Let's see. What did I say number 2 was? Remind me.
That was the filter of love.
The filter of love. Okay, you dump the filter of love into the body of the creature. You don't know this, of course. How does the filter of love work, music? It has to make a save?
Let's see. Hold on. No, the next creature it sees it falls in love with for 1 hour.
Okay, so it makes no save.
None. It's just under the effect.
Okay. Good to know. That was your action.
Yep, that was it.
Would you like to do anything else? Do you have a bonus action?
That's a
Wouldn't
good
it
question.
technically be a three-sided roll because there's only 3 potions left?
Correct. You're right. That should have been like a D3 roll. But you know what? I'm just gonna roll with it because he already technically this would have become the first because he opened what he rolled on the last one. He rolled a 1, so 2 would have become 1.
Was that my action or a bonus action?
That was your action to open it.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'm done then.
Like you're administering it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be different if you were drinking it yourself. Then it would have been a bonus action.
Yeah, but I had to dig through, find it, pull it out under crushing pressure.
And you're blind.
And I'm blind.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Don't I have to take the 66 damage?
No, that's on the worm's turn actually. So you won't take any damage until its turn.
Okay.
All right. On Jabal's turn, it is going to continue to slam down into Samael with its enormous fist. Samael, you just watch as it smacks into the ground right next to you, punching and knocking Sacrosanct over. And then attempts
I think I blocked him.
Let's say maybe deflected his giant fist. Surprisingly, it missed on its second attack against you. This time, pounding directly in front of you, between it and you. That
was a mistake.
It is staring down at you with just this disdain. As behind you, Earth Elemental Myrmidon number 2. Well, let's see. First off, that's probably going to be a miss. Yep, that's a miss. Its first attack misses. Its second attack is also a miss. It does nothing. Samael, it's your turn again. You are aware that... Oh, actually, because it's your turn, you get this message, which I am whispering to you now, which you can share if you like.
No, I think that was understood when I said we need to get the hell out.
Okay. But,
yeah.
I mean, there is some additional information that would be important. That whole first part.
You know, that's a good point. I'm going to yell out to everybody. The elementals will go back when the plane when the portal closes. Focus on everything else. Now, as a bonus action,
okay,
I'm going to drink a potion.
Go for it.
That will be a potion of greater healing.
Gotcha. And you can go ahead and roll that. 14
That's
plus
18.
18 hit points back. Everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid tonight.
Alright, so now I'm at 51 damage. Now let's see. Now, oh man, I closed out the map. Can you pull that back up for me?
Sure thing. There you go.
Now, I know I'm going to take attacks of opportunity, but I'm off of Sacrosanct, correct?
Yeah, you're not on Sacrosanct at the moment.
I'm moving to there. So whatever opportunity attacks you have, let's go ahead and take them.
I apologize, my map went all weird for a second.
That's okay.
Alright, let's see, here we go. Alright, so you're getting away, you're trying to get away, so you will take 4 opportunity attacks. Or no, Jabal tried his opportunity attack already. No, I'm sorry. Did he? No, he didn't.
I don't know.
No, he didn't. So...
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't think he did either. Alright, so Jabal will take an opportunity attack against you. I've also been totally forgetting his legendary actions, you guys. I apologize.
He forgot them too. Don't worry about him.
Alright, so that first opportunity attack is a miss.
Okay.
The gargoyle will take...
Was that Jabal?
That was Jabal. He missed.
Oh, good. I ain't worried about the rest of them then.
Yeah, the others are probably not going to hit, but you never know. They might score like a critical hit or something. You never
Which I'm
know.
immune to, so yeah, bring it.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, immune just means you take half damage, or you don't take critical damage, you take regular damage.
Yeah, but I mean, it's regular damage. Who cares?
Sure. Alright, that attack does nothing. Hey, it actually hit you. The Earth Elemental,
Cool.
surprisingly, actually hit you as you attempt to rush away. You take 13 bludgeoning damage from it.
Okay.
And Myrmidon's turn, it is going to attempt to hit you with its maul.
Cool.
So, as you're rushing away, rushing past your overturned bike, that you just feel these hits battering against your plate armor.
And now I'm going to turn back at the group, and I'm casting Fireball at 9th level.
Holy shit.
That will consume my entire necklace of fireballs. So let me
Okay.
go ahead and add in all the other
Gee.
damage to that.
And destroy your Sacrosanct as well.
You know, Zito's trying to get to that portal, and I need to make a distraction. I hate to destroy the motorcycle, but I can't take a chance of Zito getting killed. This is more important.
Go for it. Let's make sure you target everybody. Pathfinder, the Earth Elementals.
Let me just get the dice right for a 9th level fireball. Hold on.
Would you like me to help you target everyone?
Okay, that's 14d6.
Well, let me help you target everyone. I think I got everybody targeted.
We got that
Nope,
Earth
nope,
Elemental in there.
Did I get him on there too?
He's on there, and there's somebody else. Earth Elemental Myrmidon 2.
Okay.
Got him.
Got him? All right.
All right, here we go.
This will be hilarious, guys. This is literally a nuke going off right now.
Death Knights are scary. Everyone failed except for Earth Elemental Myrmidon 2.
You got insurance on that bike?
I do.
Okay. That's a whole lot of dead people. Well, let's see. That's Pathfinder 2 is dead. Gargoyle 1 is dead. Let's see. Sacrosanct explodes in a shower of sparks and metal.
Does it do any extra damage to anybody?
Let's see. You know what? Why not? Roll 3D. It does 3d10 fire damage to Earth Elemental Myrmidon 2. So that's 19 more damage. I'll go ahead and put that on him. There we go. Is that the end of your turn?
And that will end Samael's turn.
Okay. You know, for ha-has, I could just put like a fireball on the over you. Let's see.
I'm gonna delete that spell from my inventory and delete the item.
There you go. Can you guys see that?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah, he's gonna be watching me now.
Obviously it's gonna go away, but this is what you guys saw and heard. Just this explosion of fire.
It'd be nice if that worm was running underneath there at the time.
Right? Alright, and that's the end of your turn. Earth Elemental, in response to you, Samael, burning it. It's a bit burnt to a crisp. It's going to turn its attention, looking around, and it sees a diminutive Zito as Jabal is yelling and hoarsely yelling something. The siege creature yelling out to the elementals and just garbled nonsense. It is going to take a look over at a very hurt Red Sharpclaw, and it's going to turn its attention to you, Red, and attempt to whack-a-mole you with its for some reason the targeting is not working, so we'll manually target it. Here we go. It attempts to slam you with its fists. First attack hitting. As Red, you are suddenly punched in the back of your head. You fall unconscious as this thing bashes into you.
Maybe. Let's see.
Let's find out if you're still up.
Okay, so last time I'm at DC 15 for this one because I've already used it once.
Gotcha.
So, just roll a.
Don't forget, you can always use your. You can use your inspirations as well.
Yes. So con saving throw. Whew! I'm back up, baby, with 1 hit point.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
I think it's loading. It landed on a 15.
We'll find out.
There we go. Haha.
Oh. Partially resisted. So that means you're up with... I don't know what that means. So that means that you are up. You're no longer unconscious. Let me take the unconscious off of you. And it will attempt to hit you again. Because, you know, it saw you, like, crumple to the ground and then get up on one knee. So it's going to try to whack you again. Does a 24 hit? For some reason, it wasn't targeting you. I think it's because you fell unconscious.
Yeah.
All right. For some reason, it once again wouldn't let me target you. You take another 7 damage, once again crumpling to the ground.
All right. Let's see. DC 20. Let's do it.
DC 20.
Haha! I'm not dead yet.
That's just
We
ridiculous.
love barbarians.
That is ridiculous.
All day.
I could. That's literally. You're literally Captain America at this point. All right. Well then, shit. Gargoyle 2's turn. It's going to attempt to claw at thee, but it misses. Frustrated, screeching, it hits you with a bite, sinking its teeth and doing 1 damage. Does that make the DC 25?
It's 25 now. Okay. All right.
Let's do this. Oh!
I'm in inspiration.
Inspiration.
On, we can do this.
You can do this.
We can do this.
Vegas rules, baby.
Nope.
Oh no. Your luck ran out. You are unconscious, unfortunately.
It's alright, I'll be back.
We'll be back. Reuben. Make a death save, please. Go towards the light, Carol Ann. Holy shit, you rolled a natural 20. You're up with 1 hit point. Not unconscious. Let me take unconscious off of you. You're still blinded and restrained, but you are no longer unconscious.
Can I do anything?
No, that was your action.
Alright.
You have a bonus action, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing I can do with a bonus action.
Okay. You can try to fumble in your pack where, well, maybe on your next turn. Well, actually, you're probably about to go down again.
Yep.
All right.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. And it didn't roll, by the way, I should mention. That did not roll. What I was trying to do?
Yeah.
It didn't roll. Also, that didn't roll, so now, once again, I gotta roll it over here. What is going on? Sometimes when I try to roll it in the chat, it doesn't roll. Okay, so you both take 12 fire damage. So Reuben is unconscious yet again.
And so is music.
And so is music. Music, where are you? Music. There you are. Go ahead and add unconscious to you. Yeah, that effect is not working for some reason. The effect that I added to you guys, where it automatically does the 6d6. All right. The creature's turn. Let's see. Suddenly, Samael, an enormous worm-like creature bursts up out of the ground.
Bring it.
And that was its movement. It will go ahead and attempt... Oops. Did you move anywhere, or was that the end of your movement, right where you are right now?
I've got extra movement, but I'm done.
Okay. It bursts out of the ground, and it is going to attempt to have at thee with its barbed tentacles.
Okay.
We'll see if it actually does anything. As soon as Fantasy Grounds is done having a fit, there we go. So it rolls a 21, which misses. It then attempts to bite at thee. And it also misses. This thing is just like trying to like bite you in one fell swoop, swallow you up, gobble you up. And that's the end of its turn.
Okay.
On the Earth Elemental's turn, it is going to punch down into the ground, into the fallen form of our good friend Red. Punching with advantage, but still manages to miss. How was that?
Stupid thing.
Right? You would think this would just be an auto crit, right? Yeah, this is an auto crit. So that's one death save off of you. And on Jabal Almat's turn, it sees you, Samael, over there. It turns around and it sees Zito. It is going to stomp over to Zito. It is now, Zito, you are between a literal rock and a hard place. What do you mean I don't see you? You're not John Cena.
I said so.
So it's going to attempt to slam you with a fist. I assume a 29 hits.
No, it doesn't meet my AC.
Okay. No?
Yeah, go ahead and hit.
Okay. You take 29 bludgeoning magical damage from the creature as its second fist raises up like it's getting ready to pound you into the ground. And holy shit, it rolled a natural 1.
Has plus 14 to hit. What the shit?
Right? Okay, Red, it's your turn. Make a death save, please. That's a success. One step closer to being stable, I mean. Earth Myrmidon 2 is going to rush towards you, Samael.
Okay.
Yes, at this point, it's like, you know what? You're got a giant worm trying to hit you, but it's still, you know what? It thinks it can get you, but it doesn't. It hits and misses both times. On Pathfinder 1's turn, he's going to take his Morning Star and try to crack Red's unconscious body with it, but still manages to miss with his first attack. The second one, however, is a hit. And that is one more death save, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
It trips me out that these things keep missing. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
Right. Again, if I'm doing that incorrectly, if these guys should just be auto-hitting, auto-critting, then by all means, please correct me.
No, I like this better.
All right. Zito, it is your turn.
Alright. Zito is going to, I guess, flap his wings and go over to the portal with the war pick.
Okay. All
Or
right.
that over there.
Right there, okay. You haven't, let's say right here, so you're not taking, unless you want to take an opportunity attack.
Oh, I thought I had like 15 feet of movement. Am I still able to reach it?
Yeah, you should still be able to reach it.
Alright, and I'm going to, I guess, swing the war pick at the portal.
Okay. Good, let me just take a look at something here. Alright, so the moment that you strike the monolith with this weapon, it chips what you have seen to be an otherwise indestructible structure. And all of a sudden you just start hearing the grinding sound from before. This grinding display of a combination of liquid and solid begins to implode, showering the area around with pulverized rock and crystal. And the ground beneath your feet begins to crack and split open as fissures begin to form all around. And let's just take a look here. This might not be a good thing for our two people. Let's see.
It's partially in the ground. Doesn't it take damage?
Yeah, looks like everyone's gonna get that. Okay. Well, this is the moment that you hit it. This chain reaction goes off, Zito. The war pick suddenly disintegrates in your hand. And let me take this circle off so I can actually see. These great big fissures suddenly crack open, splitting. Let's see. Earth Elemental, Gargoyle 2, and the Earth Elemental begin to fall down into the fissure and then suddenly whoop, zip back and are sucked into the Kithrian node. The Kithrian node, you watch as Jabal Amat is raising his fist up, getting ready to punch at you. And as his fist almost connects Zito, his arm gets sucked into the node, and you watch as he gets sucked one limb after another into the node until it's just his head, and you watch as his head crumbles into mush as it is sucked into the node. Earth Myrmidon 1 is gone. Earth Myrmidon 2 is gone. And the Correspond is now being dragged towards the node as well. Sucked into it. You watch as the wiggly worm is like, as its head gets burrowed into the portal, and its ass end is wiggling around this way and that as it is suddenly sucked inside of it like someone's sucking up a noodle. And let's see.
Hey, Music and Ribbon just went to the elemental plane. This is awesome.
Okay. Make a dexterity saving throw, Zito. Oh shit. Zito, you... let's see. I just have to look at the battlefield to see exactly... you know what? You're not fully on either of those, so I'm gonna say you don't need to make this save. I'm saying you're precariously perched on the edge, but you're not falling into these fissures that opened up. If you were directly in it completely, flying. You're also flying, so you're not going to fall at all. I apologize. The front of the tunnel the train is now flipping up, falling into the fissure. The back of the train car is sticking up in the air. And he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. And you guys, the only ones left are the Pathfinder and Juke. So let's see whose turn is it next. It is Juke's turn. Juke scrabbles to the other side onto the ground, and it will end its turn there. Lathana, it's your turn.
Did it move?
Yeah, it basically climbed up a 10-foot high, or no, I'm sorry, it had 10 more feet worth of movement. It's going to rush forward the rest of its movement.
Ah, okay. And
now it's your turn, Lathana. You see this guy with a huge crater of an impact in his chest. You just hear this cacophony, this wave of chunks of crystal and stone impacting the ground around you as that giant monolith has turned into nothing. It looks like a kernel now, spinning in the air, floating above the dais. And right ahead of you, almost immediately 5 feet away from you, you see Red's body precariously perched next to the edge of this fissure. You're not sure how deep it is.
Yeah, Lathana will immediately grab up Red, and she will stick the greater healing potion that she's had in her hand, pour it down her throat.
Okay, go for it, Red. Well, I'm sorry, I mean, go for it, Lathana. Roll that for it. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Alright.
Yes. Do you like how I made those fissures appear on the map, guys, when it happened?
Pretty cool.
I like that.
I love Unity. Okay, that's 19 health back for Red, and Red is no longer unconscious. Red, your eyes snap wide awake. You're staring straight up at the cavern roof above you, and chunks of stone you can see are falling from the ceiling. Huge chunks here and there, precariously looking like they're cascading down like hailstones. Let's see. Ruben, just for ha-has. I would say, unfortunately, Ruben, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you and Kevin after this is all over what happened to you guys. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
I mean,
we have awesome adventures in our future.
Guys, I'll tell you, you can continue to make death saves if you want. Or no, yeah, go ahead and make a death save. Just for ha-has. That's a failure. For some reason, success, success. Success. So you're stable in its body. Music, if you want to roll your death saves, you can. This is just for more ha-has. Unless somebody pulls you out of its body, you're still getting digested by this thing, unfortunately. Yeah, music is dead.
Oh well.
I'm sorry. Hey, but that experience points can go to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
All right, Samael, it's your turn. The worm's gone. This place is crackling, and you get another message, which I will share with the entire group if you want. You guys can read it.
Yes, please.
And you can, instead of whispering it, you guys can read it. And you can also read it to them if you'd prefer. There you go. Okay.
All right.
Let me just, let's see. Gotta change the music a bit. Combat music, gun. Well, technically not done because there's still 2 enemies on there, but I'll leave it up to you guys what you want to do. Samuel, there are 2 combatants still in the field if you would like to do something about that.
We're getting the hell out of here, but I'm going to leave a little something with them when I go.
Okay. Damn.
Let's see. That was 1 hit and 2 misses.
Yeah. Agonizing blast. Hell yeah, boy. Yeah, you just your agonizing blast impacts this guy, and his head just melts.
Let's get the hell out of here.
This guy's head catches on fire. He doesn't even have time to scream. The flesh melts off of his face. His headgear melts with it.
And I'm running towards the exit. I'm assuming they're doing the same.
Okay.
Are we out of combat order?
Technically, no. There's still an enemy. He doesn't seem to be done with you guys yet.
We're done with him.
Zito, it's your turn. You watch as your hand is now coated in dust from the what once was the war pick, this sparkling sand. And
Zito's gonna fly towards the exit. Before he goes to leave, was Kip in the area where the fissure is now?
I'm sorry, what? Where was who?
Kip.
Kip's body fell into the fissure. If I'm not mistaken, that was roughly where Kip's body was, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so. All right.
And as you fly away from what once was the monolith, the Kithrian node, you see Lothana looking around, scanning the area. You see your companion Red woozily looking around.
I'm gonna hang by Red and Lothana just in case.
Okay.
Now my turn.
Okay. Jukester, Juke is going to haul ass right for you. You just hear that sound over you can barely hear the sound of it skittering multiple centipede-like legs as it rushes towards you, Lithana. We'll see if it gets its possession back. Holy shit. I don't know if this is legal. It didn't populate in the dice tray. But I rolled a 6. I swear to gosh, I rolled a 6. Lithana, roll a charisma save.
Okay.
Would you like to use your inspiration?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on. Dice don't fail me now.
Oh, 22. Once again, this thing is frustrated, is screeching in your face, getting ready to pounce on you as it once again attempted to possess your body. And it is your turn. Staring death in it. It's staring death at you. Daggers, literal daggers at you as it tried to possess your body.
She pulls out her scimitar and she will strike it twice.
Okay.
Or 1, 2. Is she targeting it?
The first attack is a miss. But don't you get to attack again if you miss?
With a ranged attack.
With a ranged attack, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Come on, bruh. Oh, wait. But actually, with this... Oh, yes, I can still make one
Yeah,
extra
you can
attack.
immediately... Yeah, you get to immediately attack again, don't you? Yeah, that's a hit.
Yeah.
Alright, that's 9 slashing magical damage to the creature. So you cut at it again, once again hitting, connecting with a 26.
Come on.
And it is 8 slashing magical damage. You're carving off pieces of its chitinous hide. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, she's not moving until until Red moves.
Okay.
I guess.
Alright, Samael, it's your turn.
Okay, no, she's standing right there.
Seeing that they're under attack again, I'm going to use my bonus action and cast Misty Step 30 feet in their direction.
Okay.
I can't see how many feet 30 is, though. Let's see.
Well, you can just, like, make, like, a movement. Like you're making a movement on the battlefield.
All right, that's 30 right there, I think.
That's 35.
30.
There we go. So you bamp forward, and you become immaterial and material once again, right on the edge of the fissure, looking at the enemy that is menacing Lithana.
And I will now move behind the enemy.
Okay.
Is he flanked?
You are not. You would have to be corner to corner to be flanked, technically.
Have to be corner to corner. Okay.
Correct.
Is he surprised?
Haha.
All right.
He's probably pretty surprised.
Yep. He's about to be more surprised.
If you were a rogue, that would be scary. That's a hit. 24 definitely hits.
I will smite him with that attack.
Okay. That's 17 magical bludgeoning and radiant damage to the creature.
I'm just waiting for that to pop up. I rolled a 19.
27 definitely hits.
Also a smite.
Oh, shit. Lithana, you watched as suddenly Samael rushed behind the centipede-like Korai, and you watch as he whack, like he's popping open the chitinous shell of a lobster. With his second attack, its head just splits open. You can see the meat beneath, and this thing just crumples. And as it's crumpling to the craggy, cavernous floor, you see this strange, ethereal, reddish orange energy, which is coalescing and pulling out of its form, and then sucking into the head of his Hellfire Warhammer.
We don't have time for you, dumbass. Let's go.
And you guys are out of combat. What would you like to do?
Get the hell out.
So what did he drop? His Warhammer? Did his soul get sucked into it, or was it my sword?
He just sucked the core eye into his hammer.
Okay. Is my old sword still here? That guy had?
Well, Lithana would know. So, but unfortunately, you could assume so, but Lithana would have known that she saw it in the train car, which has slid in his ass end over Tea Kettle up in the air.
Oh, he didn't
stuck
have
in the
it.
fissure.
Okay.
Well, no, he had it in the train car.
Okay. But he doesn't have it now. I didn't see him using it.
No, he was using his appendages.
All right.
So rather than having you guys like manually run through this dungeon, you guys can just say that you're getting the hell out of Dodge. If you want to just say that you're running back and retracing your steps, if you prefer to do
Jeremy.
that. Yes, sir.
Yep.
We are officially getting the hell out of Dodge.
Gotcha.
So, here's what's going to happen. Jabal gets mad. He breaks the core worm's head open. A few minutes later, Reuven and Music climb out. I make friends with him. And then we go off on some Elemental Planes adventures.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't really think it's going to happen. But it does sound cool.
Red is gonna start a family and
Holy crap, guys.
fight off people.
Well, Samael's going to help Lithana find her sister.
You did it.
Yeah. Zito did it.
I don't know how he managed to do it, but he did it.
Like that, he was, I don't know if you guys noticed, but he was 1 hit point away from going down.
I noticed that
Yeah,
because I
put that
gave him
in the
30 hit
chat.
points.
I also put Samael in the party sheet, if that's okay with you all.
No, I'm actively against it.
Aw.
Just kidding, Samuel.
I was about to say, it's okay. Samael's used to it.
All right. You award some experience points for that. You guys are all level 12 now.
Woohoo.
As you each received, because of the nature of this battle, you all received, and I know this is probably the most, again, this was a crazy battle. I stacked the deck so high against you guys. This was definitely a deadly encounter. It was actually multiple encounters that were tiered to activate based on what was happening on the battlefield. You each received over 11,860 experience points apiece.
Wow.
That's like terrestrial experience.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also threw some extra experience points in there because you guys, it's the last Eberron session for probably a long time. So
It's because we shot the cow on the way out.
the cat disappeared. Actually, you didn't notice it on your way out of the cavern.
It's when I did my level up, it said it couldn't find my class hit die, so it just did a D6.
That's weird.
I don't think barbarians are.
No,
But
I don't see a D6 on you.
it's showing on my list as a D6 now.
Here, let me
Even
pull
though it
this
should
up
be
again.
a D12.
No, it says a D12.
What?
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's
Let
weird
me-
because it
let me
says
double-
on mine, and then in the chat it says, yeah,
Yeah, on mine it says D12.
maybe I need to disconnect and come back in. Maybe it's glitching.
It
Jeremy, could you
be.
apply that level of Hexblade to me?
Oh, the warlock.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do it and make it, sure it gives me the Hexblade features.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Zito finally has a 20 intelligence.
That's pretty funny.
Especially since Samael still has a 10.
Also, Jennifer said that because her birthday is on Tuesday, you guys all get another inspiration. Which you can totally save for the new campaign, or you can award it to yourselves now.
I'll save it.
Okay. So if you guys want to save it for the new campaign,
a D6 for my hit die. That's so weird.
yeah, and on mine it says D12. That's so weird.
Oh, I'm dumb. I was reading the number of hit die I had, not the type of hit die.
Derek, are you back yet? Sabrina, are you back?
Just got back.
Sabrina, would you like me to level you up? You are level 12 now.
Yes, that would be awesome. Sorry, I almost choked on a vitamin there.
That's okay. Boom. I leveled you up. Is Derek there with you, or did he take off?
He was helping do some laundry. He's back. Just
no worries.
Yes, I died, Jeremy. What do you want?
Reuven.
Yes.
So, you were fairly certain that you were done. It was over. And you suddenly feel something prodding you and then smacking you. And your eyes open and you just see this kaleidoscope of color and outer space. And you are immediately aware that you're being pulled out of the remains, the chunks of that worm that had gobbled you up, as someone is pouring a healing potion in your mouth. And as you look up, your eyes adjust and you see through he has removed your helmet and thrown it away so that he could administer this to you. You now see a half-orc with white hair, wearing a piecemeal armor set that looks like bits of this splint-like armor that you have recognized as the ceremonial warrior garb of the samurai of the Shadow Marches. And this individual looks down to you and he says, "Are you all right?"
I think so.
And as you begin to look around and pull yourself up, he is helping you to pull you up in this space. You look around, you seem to be floating on what appears to be a roughly 70-foot diameter craggy floating island. And off in the distance you see more of those floating in this strange, misty, hazy atmosphere all around you. And he looks to you and he says, "We have to move. They will be hunting us." And he grabs you and he starts hurrying you away from this exposed area into a cavern. And as he pulls you into there, you just see dozens of creatures flying on the backs of what appear to be enormous wasps. And these armored warriors are all flying in a flock, buzzing over this place that you're in. You just watch as they fly off into the distance.
You need to get back.
He looks at you and he says, "How?"
I take his hand.
A thing pulled me and ripped me away and threw me into this place, took me out of the cavern, and left me here to die.
I will cast banishment on both of us.
Okay, how does that work?
It says you attempt to send one creature that you can see within range to another plane of existence. That target must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be banished. If it's is a native to a different plane of existence that the one you're on, the target is banished with the faint popping noise, returning to its home planet. If the spell ends before 1 minute has passed, the target reappears in the space. But if I concentrate for 1 minute, we're back on our home planet.
Okay. Is this something that you can direct where you appear in a specific point?
No. We're literally thrown somewhere on the material plane. It's better than here.
And suddenly, you're in blue skies. It is really, really cold, and you are about 75 feet up in the air over the ocean, an expansive ocean. And you just hear this half-orc going, "Shit!" Bam! The two of you impact the water, nearly knocking yourselves out. And as you both begin to orient yourselves and look at it, you took a little bit of damage from that. Well, it's not enough to take you down to 0 hit points. You're not unconscious in the water. You look in the distance, you can see an island with a mountain range, this archipelago, and it is really, really cold. He immediately starts shivering. He says, and he just gestures towards the island, and the two of you start swimming if you follow him.
Yeah, I'll follow. Is it dark?
No, it's the same time as it was. It's like midday.
Dang it, I can't fly. Alright, I'll swim.
Okay. In the meantime, we will shift back over to the other group.
Can you believe Derek left that plane of existence without looting that staff off Music's body before he left?
Or taking anything of it, for that matter. But
it's like a 10,000 GP staff.
It's not like Ruben would know that existed on you. He's never seen you use it.
I think I did use it, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, because that's where all my healing came from.
Let me snatch that. Yeah.
Too late now, buddy.
All right. So it takes you guys a while, but eventually you're all able to make it back actually to the false wall. Or you can either follow the direction that the shifters went, or you can try to make your way all the way back to the way that you guys came in and go up the mud river and all that. Up to you. I will leave it up to you guys.
I would answer, but I don't know the way.
What was that, Zito?
I'd say the best way to go is the way we came in.
So not following the false wall where the shifters escaped. The secret entrance back in that cavern where you found the children.
Well, we know that goes back up to the building. I don't think we would.
I mean, you wouldn't necessarily know which way it goes, but that was the way that the shifter went. That was the way that the survivors, the prisoners, were directed to go.
Since Lefana is typically pretty good with directions and tracking, I'm sure she would remember that and say, hey, let's go the way the shifters mentioned.
All right.
Okay, so that's 2 votes for going through the secret passageway.
I can't vote. I don't know the difference. I didn't come down this way.
Okay, how about you, Red?
Looks like she
She
got a phone call.
Okay, well, we'll just say that she votes yes. Or I'm sorry, are you back?
I got this. This one agrees with the Iron Kobold.
Hey, there's a throwback. So eventually you find yourselves at that false wall. You're able to push through. It is not a solid surface. And you follow this tunnel that leads to what the best can be described is an elevator shaft with a platform seated there with a control node. And looking up, you can see light. A light source. Far, far above. As you stare up the shaft, impossibly deep shaft down into this cavern.
Can I do something with the control node to lift us up?
Would you like to manipulate it?
Sure, I'll try that.
Okay. It has a single toggle switch, like a button that is illuminated with light. Like this seems to be of an artificer construction. Make an intelligence check.
Straight intelligence.
Yep, straight intelligence. Yeah, with a 20, you would assume that this apparently controls this.
I'm gonna press the button.
Okay. When you press the button, the button depresses. There is a click and the sound of gears and metal scraping as the platform begins to slowly rise up towards this pinprick of light up above you all. You can all just feeling this wave of almost exhaustion pass all over most of you as this nightmare apparently has ended that you've all suffered through. There's no
For
more
now.
there's no more vibrations. And as you reach the surface, you can see that this elevator terminates in what once was a basement. There is no longer a building above what this basement structure was. And when you get to the top, you can see a couple of samurai who, when you appear on this platform, look to you, and one of them rushes forward to you and puts a hand on your shoulder as you're begin to exit the elevator. These appear to be familiar to you. You've seen them around Artham. And they say, "Where did you all come from?"
Yes, whoever's behind this attack, they're trying to access this node hidden beneath the city. They managed to summon this giant elemental creature, but we were able to fight it off. It's like we lost more than a few of our comrades down there.
I'm sorry to hear that. We lost quite a few people as well. The forces have all been cleared out. With help from the ZB, we were able to chase them off. And also some help from a few of our swamp-dwelling friends. Urkor said that whenever I found you, we've been waiting here for a while after a few of the villagers found us and led us here and said that you were all down beneath. We've been waiting this entire time for you to arrive. We need you to come with us immediately. Urkor said that Rhaegar wants to talk to you.
Wants to talk to us?
Yes.
Alright. Well, I think we should get this over with and then we can finally rest up.
It won't take long. We just have to cross the Zeratin fields.
Well, everyone, you ready to go for one last meeting?
I suppose we can go with them.
Yes, I would meet this person. Let's go.
And the samurai just sort of looks at you, gives you a curt nod, Samael, and he leads you out of this collapsed basement up to the surface. And as you're all looking around, glancing around, you just see buildings leveled, either burnt to the ground or collapsed into rubble and ruin. The spire itself has tilted, and most of the structures have slid off and plummeted onto the ground around the base of Titan's Reach. The samurai now, as they're leading you away from what once was, you can now see the remains of Luther Vaughn's sweet shop, his confection shop. They lead you off to the west towards the edge of the Zeratin Fields, and you can now see that on the outskirts of Hartham, right on the edge, you just see huge, hulking, gargantuan creatures that are lumbering through the muck and the mud. And there are handfuls of individuals that are seated on top of them. Some of them holding spyglasses looking off in the distance. Others are holding up flags with some sort of a symbol on it. These flags with streamers. And as you get to this area where Zito, you once accepted the winnings for your race that you completed with your friend Auri, you can see now that they have set up multiple esters waiting, and the samurai says, you can use these to get to the hill. And he points out off in the distance towards that elevated mound with the trees growing out of it that you used the Ester mechanical horse to circumnavigate around and then back during the race. And he looks to you and he says, Rhaegar will meet you there. If you have anything you need to accomplish beforehand, you can do so. Unfortunately, I can't really offer you much. As you can see, we're kind of a bit of a pickle dealing with the destruction of the town. And you can see individuals are scattered on the outskirts of the town. You can see a few of them have set up like tents, like temporary structures. And there are literally rows and rows of people like lying on the ground on makeshift gurneys.
Alright. Knowing what creatures lie out there, Zito's going to cast Cure Wounds on himself. It's last level 4 spell slot.
Okay.
Luthana will just say, wow, it's been a long night, that's for sure. And she'll just kind of put a hand to her head and say, she'll speak into her ring. I don't know if Reuven was on the ring, though. Is Reuven on the ring?
I don't think he
Reuven ever had a ring.
Yeah, I don't think he possessed one.
Yeah, but music would have. No, but music wasn't either. Oh, well. Let's see. She looks through her pack. I feel like she has a sending stone somewhere.
Well, the thing with a sending stone is that you have to have another sending stone on the other end to use.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it was worth a shot. We need to go meet with Ramuth, is that right?
Rhaegar.
Rhaegar, okay. Well, I don't need to do anything other than maybe have a rest, but these people have been through a lot. I think we can promptness will be helpful.
And Red, with your passive perception, you can see that many of the people that are on the stretchers are being attended to by the best you can see, the largest gathering of shifters that you've seen in a while, especially since you've been back. Many of them look to be in a disheveled state, potentially the individuals that you all freed from beneath Hartham. And they all seem to be pitching together to help all these injured individuals. And you can just glance at the edge of one of the tents that were set up, a couple of diminutive forms, and the familiar form of the seamstress being tended to.
Red would go over to check on Kit and get the babies.
You can see now that she has her head wrapped. One side of her face is completely wrapped with a bandage, and is stained with what you could assume is blood. The two children slide off of her lap. They were like sort of clinging to her torso, and they immediately rush towards you and leap into your arms.
Give him a kiss on the forehead. This one is glad you made it out, young ones.
And they both just look at you, tears in their eyes, and they say, "Mommy!" and just collapse, wrapping their arms around you, their tears wetting your outfit, your fur. It's
my
just
blood-covered body.
your blood-covered body. The little boy starts licking you. Daisy is just reaching up and grabbing great handfuls of your hair and chewing on it and just bawling as she's doing so. And Indy is just licking your wounds, trying to like clean you as best he can.
Aww. I'm just gonna take a moment and just like collapse with them on the ground around my shifter kin. Man, what a adventure this has been. What a journey.
Samael, you have but to take a moment to survey the destruction and the calamity which has befallen on this settlement, on these people. And you have just have a sense that what you've done today may have had a hand in stopping whatever was going to happen, whatever further destruction may have occurred. But you are reminded that you were told to meet at the Big Turtle. Whatever that means.
So, what is the Big Turtle? Does anybody know?
And do you say that out loud?
Yes.
As you say that, one of the samurai turns and looks at you and says, "What are you talking about?"
I was told to meet someone at the Big Turtle. What would you make of that?
His eyes go wide for a second, and he raises a brow, and he gets a little closer to you, and he says, "What do you know of Grandmutter?"
Nothing yet, but I hope to soon.
And he just starts to chuckle, and he's like, "Well, that's our destination." And he gestures out to the hill. And as he reaches out, almost as if in a reaction to him gesturing, you watch as the hill begins to rise up in the muck and unfurl arms and legs out. Really, and it begins to start to rotate. You can see the tops of the trees shaking as this hill sprouts arms and legs and is turning in the distance. Slowly turning.
Oh, great, another one.
You think that's the one, Samuel?
What's that?
You think that's the one?
I guess so.
Well, I know these people. I trust them enough. I won't pull out my weapon, but let's go see what this thing is.
Well, let's meet our friend here first, and then we'll go see.
So do you all wait for Red to finish up?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if Red sees some crazy stuff stirring, she's back in battle mode. She
Okay.
puts the babies back on Kit's lap. This one will be right back, children.
Okay.
Fret not.
If you are agreeable, the samurai leads you to however many esters you think you'll need. You can either double up and ride two esters out, or you can
Okay.
take 4.
We'll double up with.
Yeah, I mean, they need something as well.
Okay. So one by one, you climb onto the back of these mechanical horses, which, strangely enough to you, Samael, their construction is very familiar. Very close to Sacrosanct's construction. Only where the control yokes would be is a mechanical horse head. And it looks at you and makes this tinny, mechanical, warbly ninnying, or I can't even say the word, nihing. Somebody please say that word.
Neighing?
Ninnying. You know what? I'm making it. It's canon. Ninnying. It makes a ninnying noise.
Are you talking about whinnying?
Winning. That's the one I'm looking for. And as you climb aboard the creatures, the samurai give you a quick breakdown that these creatures can be either controlled manually or you just tell them a direction and they will go. And if you are willing to do so, they will rocket out across the Zeratin fields towards this moving hill. This hill with arms and legs.
Aren't we meeting someone in town first?
Crawling on all fours. You're actually meeting someone at the hill. You were
Okay, good.
You were directed to go out there to meet Rhaegar.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Eventually, you are able to cross the expanse, across the Zeratin fields, surprisingly not encountering, Zito, what you remember as large crustaceans and enormous muck-covered turtle-like creatures. And as you all get closer and closer to the hill, you can see that the hill now has a head. And it has turned itself to look east towards Hartham. And as you approach it, it just regards you. Have you all seen The Never-Ending Story?
Yes.
That's exactly what you see. You see a giant turtle-like creature with trees growing out of its back, regarding all of you with a wizened look on its face.
Cool.
Do any of you speak Aquan or Draconic?
I speak Draconic.
Okay. It says in Draconic, "Welcome, children. Rhaegar is expecting you." And you can see that there, as you get closer to it, Zito, what you once saw before was just a hill. You're now seeing this illusion which is melting away like a rain stopping before you. And you can now see various lifts and ladders and systems of allowing one to climb the moss and grass covered shell of this enormous dragon turtle. And at the top of the shell, you can see gatherings of half-orcs and humans that are all, as soon as they see you, begin to cheer and just clap and hoot and holler. As you can now see, Zito, a familiar sight of the half-orc with that very strange Wolverine-like mohawk, dual mohawk with a bald spot straight down the middle. He's looking at all of you now, his hands on his belt, an enormous greatsword which is attached to his back as he looks down at all of you, and he gestures for you all to come up and join them.
This is very, very reminiscent of episode
Episode?
3, when they're getting their awards at the end. Everybody's honoring them.
Yeah.
We're the heroes.
And this is what you see, although not in the ocean. Obviously. Imagine a dragon turtle with trees growing out of its back, and that's what you see. And as you stop your esters and allow the individuals up on this shell to assist you up into the top on the back of this creature, you can now see that beyond the tree cover, there's actually what appears to be a small outpost. There's a couple of buildings scattered about, and the individual with the crazy dual mohawk walks up to you and he says, "Are you all right?" I apologize, we haven't had much time to speak before. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And she looks over at Red. Red, would you like to give a report?
You cut off a little bit there. Who were you directing that to?
Oh, to you. Red, would you like to give a report?
Red will stand up a little straighter. This one has died several times. This one refused to die. This one and her friends went to the depths of this earth and banished several beasts to their fathomless pits. That is all. She just...
And
this one hates magic.
This imposing half-orc, he walks forth, he puts a hand, rests it on your shoulder, and he says, "Rest easy here, Red. I know of you, I know of your kin, I know what you and your kin have done for the people of Hearthland, the people of the Shadow Marches. We will not forget it, and we will most certainly not forget what you have all done today. You will find no death here. No violence. That cycle of violence will end. We will stop it together. I thank all of you for everything that you have done today. If my father was alive..." And he looks at the other individuals that are gathered around you. They all look like they've been through hell. They're cut, scraped, bandaged up. "If my father were alive, he would want all of you to be honorary members, with your permission. Red, with your companions. Of Clan Ashta. And, by proxy, members of Zadok's Bane. Hopefully this injustice will motivate the scattered clans. And once the clans have gathered and the people of Hearthland are safe, an assault on Zarashak will be formulated."
This one would be honored to keep fighting to keep her kin safe. This one fears it is not nearly over yet.
Samael.
Yes.
You feel a wind whipping you about. The rest of you all are now feeling a wind whipping about, disturbing the air above you all. And you all now begin to see some sort of tornado descending down towards this clearing where you're all standing. And this tornado appearing to have some semblance of arms begins to shift and shimmer, and you are greeted by a man wearing a verdant green bodysuit. It appears to have been spun from fine silk. He wears a cloak made from multicolored leaves and moss, and he carries a wooden staff topped with a device that resembles two wooden pinwheels clasped around an amber crystal. And the pinwheels just sort of spin lazily as if caught in the breeze that he apparently manifested before transforming from an air elemental into the form that he is now presented. The man turns and looks at you, Samael, after regarding your companions and the other individuals around, who, for some strange reason, don't seem to be pulling weapons out immediately and challenging this stranger. And this warm voice says, "Samael, my old friend, I see your mission was a success." He has a bit of a rakish grin on his face. His skin is sort of a golden tan color. His pointed ears. He has the obvious facial features of a man of half-elven descent. His hair is a mix of curly black with a few streaks of silver. He turns around and looks at all of you, and he says, "Hello there. I am Quimnus. It is an honor to meet you all." And he just...
Glad you could make it, Quimnus, but it wasn't without casualty. At least we got everything taken care of here, though.
Casualties. I am so sorry to hear that. I thought for sure that when I sent you to your friend, that you would be able to stop this.
We've stopped it, but we did suffer losses.
Rhaegar, it's good to see you again. My friends, I stand before you as a friend of the Felis Clouder. The Felis are the architects of the Sanctuary, a neutral nexus point for all planar travelers. One of those travelers has requested your presence. Now, I understand that you're all weary from battle, but if it is agreeable to you all, I would like to bring you to the Sanctuary so that you may rest and heal your wounds, and I absolutely assure you that it is quite safe there.
You promise no funny business, because the last time someone came and said that we were stuck into a world of iron and metal and pain.
This was trustworthy.
This one will go, given that she can bring her children with her.
Absolutely. If you will collect them, are they here now? I mean, the man begins to look around.
They are back with
children
my
present.
ship.
Very well. I can go get them. And you watch as he turns into a giant eagle and launches himself up in the air.
Oh God, that's
and
gonna
then
be terrifying for a little
drops
cat
down
baby.
and grabs you. Like, he sort of, with one of his claws, gestures with the palm of his hand as for you to climb into his clawed hand.
I get on with my like hackles on end. I don't like birds.
And he whoosh, leap, just launches up into the air, and an incredible rate of speed goes off to the east down towards this gathering place where all the tent city is, and carefully drops you on the ground, not too far away from where you last saw the children.
And I'll go scoop them back up.
What are the rest of you guys doing while this is going on?
Talking.
Okay. About anything in particular, or?
Yeah, I was telling them that he's not really a people person and he's socially awkward. I was about to tell them he's a time traveler.
Ivana would put out her hand to Samael and say, "I don't think we've actually officially met. I'm Lithana Aisha."
It's a pleasure, Samael the Reaper. I consider your sister family. We're going to need to talk later.
It's actually her cousin.
I'll consider your cousin family. We're going to need to talk later.
My cousin. Wait.
And her husband.
No,
yes, I thought. Samael was with me when was with me in Zara Hill.
Wow. I didn't know that there were so many people in the world who knew my cousin somehow.
We fought an ancient god floating above the city and destroyed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Little cousin Zara?
And I killed her husband's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, you mean bitch face?
Yeah.
She's like, that sounds like quite a story. Sounds like a good story to have over some ale.
About how much time do you think it takes you, Red, to wrangle the children and explain what you're doing?
It's pretty quick. If they don't comply, I scruff them like a cat and carry them up on.
Okay. Andy lets out a yowling noise, especially when he sees the giant bird. Daisy is absolutely enraptured by the giant bird and it tries to pluck feathers out of its chest as you're holding it and accepting the giant bird's claw, once again picking you up gingerly. And then after a while, as the bird lifts up into the air, going back towards the giant dragon turtle freedom fighter fortress, try to say that 3 times fast, and lands once again into this area. Most of the individuals that were here have kind of like gave you guys your space. Clearly, whoever this person is to them, they've seen him before. At least you can assume so. They don't seem to be worried at all that he's transforming into things and flying away and coming back.
It's tree people stuff.
And once again, you see that shimmer effect, and the large eagle shifts back into the half-elfin man, and he just sort of stretches. Okay, I'm good. Gather around, please. We must be quick now, for the portal shall not stay open for very long. And you can watch now, he gestures with one of his hands, and one of the bigger trees on the back of this dragon turtle, you can see now that a seam, runs up from the ground where the roots meet the earth, and creates a roughly 7 or 8 foot tall split that immediately begins to open up. And he says, "After you all, please." And a portal suddenly opens at the base of the trunk of this tree. Do you all pass through?
Yes.
You can see beyond that there is a field of tall pastel green grass that just stretches out before you. And far off in the distance, you can see tall cylindrical buildings shining in the sun. And are you all passing through? It takes about 6 seconds for this spell to so you all kind of have to speed walk through it.
Yeah.
Like, shoop, shoop, shoop,
Red
shoop.
goes.
We'll go through.
Okay. Cool breeze is washing over your bodies as you emerge from a tree portal. The wind is creating a rippling effect across that tall field of pastel green grass. And you can see off in the distance what appears to be a tall stone building, sort of like a round cylindrical shaped building. And as soon as you all arrive on this place, the portal snaps shut. Within 6 seconds, you're like right through it, and it closes almost immediately. Without a word, this individual who identified himself as Quimnus strides towards the circular stone building in the distance.
I guess Zeta will follow him.
Okay.
Following.
One by one, you all, as you get closer to it, you can see that it's an open air temple building with wide columns, and the stone is made from a white marble with like swirls of black, and a diminutive furry humanoid appears from around one of the wide columns and calls out to the half-elven druid as you get closer, and you just hear, "Mr. Highhill, it is so good to see you again, and you brought guests. Splendid!" And you all see is this person, the best I can describe it to you is a tabaxi the size of a halfling. Short, dwarfed arms and legs, stubby. She's wearing a dress. Her fur, she is sort of like a fuzzy, cream-colored fur. And she's got patches of orangish fur in places.
Wait, did you just say hi, Hill?
What would you all like to do?
Did you just say hi, Hill?
Yes! Hello! I'm Chloe.
Chloe, nice to meet you. Who is Mr. Highhill?
That's Mr. Highhill, silly! And she points towards the druid who has now entered the temple and is disappearing amongst what you can best be described as clusters of statues.
Well, I can't wait to hear this. I told you it was socially awkward. Go ask him about it.
Is this the first time that you've visited the temple? Is there anything in particular that you're interested in seeing?
What do you mean?
This is the temple of the heroes of the prophecy. We honor the fallen with monuments in their image. Those who have performed the greatest of deeds are recorded by the immortals of the perfect order. And as you're walking through, you can see a great many of the statues are surrounded by wreaths of flowers and candles and errant baubles and trinkets, presumably left behind by travelers, friends, loved ones. And you can see that all of the statues spiral in concentric circles around, at the center of this temple, a massive statue which shows two dragons entangled and wrestling atop another dragon statue that appears to be constructed to look broken. But the best you can look at it, looks like it's not as if someone broke the statue, but they sculpted it this way. And it rests on a 5-foot tall round dais with runic language carved all over it. The language is in Draconic, Zito. And as you get closer to it, you can see that it appears to be a retelling of the creation myth of Eberron and the other planes. You also see other runes carved into the base that appear to represent all of the dragon marks. One of them which is damaged and illegible. But by process of elimination, Zito, you have a pretty good feeling which one it is.
Which one would that be?
The
was
mark
it the Stormbringer?
The mark of death. And not too far away from this statue, Quibnus has come to rest, stopped, near another statue which stands out from all the rest. It appears to be made from rust-colored metal, and it carries a large sword with the pointed end resting on the stone floor. And as you're getting closer to this odd statue, you see it's not a statue at all, but a tall construct that is directing another one of these cat people, these diminutive dwarven cat people, who is busy repairing the arm from a broken statue it's standing next to. And you just hear in this very high-pitched voice, "Well, you shouldn't have touched it then, you big oaf. We just finished this new edition, and now you tell us that the archive was incorrect about the core of our wizard's likeness?" And you can see this dark furred winged, this feeless creature has like these mechanical wings on a harness which is attached to its torso, and it's hovering in front of the construct's face and waving a wand in the construct's face. And Chloe suddenly interrupts this exchange and she goes, "Now, Sophie, you mustn't be rude to the Mechanicus. I'm sure that it was an accident. Now calm yourself. Don't you see that we have guests?" And the little cat with the wings comes to a rest on the floor, a bit shorter than the other cat creature named Chloe. This one appears to be either younger in age or possibly even smaller in stature. And the construct now turns and looks in the direction of the druid and says, in this very rumbly, scratchy voice, Quimlis, I see you finally brought the heroes of Eberron to the sanctuary. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it not too early in the time stream for this event to occur? You do realize that further meddling with the past will only lead to yet another time paradox. And the Archdruid gestures to the construct and he says, "Thank you for your concern, my old friend, but it is unwarranted. I am simply acting at the request of Celestis, of whom has been called from the Panopticon. Now we should all take a seat and await her arrival." And Quimnis gestures quickly beyond this center area where the giant statue is. You can all see that beyond the statues, next to this building is a small gathering area with a campfire and stone benches. And Quimnis strides over with Chloe and Selfie, the cat people, moving not too far behind him, following after him. And eventually the druid, he sets forth, resting his staff next to him, sitting down on one of the many stone benches around the fire, and he reaches into his bag, his traveling bag, and pulls out something, and he begins to create a campfire. Well, I'm sure that you're all absolutely brimming with questions. Please, have a seat, take a rest. You've all been through so much.
Thank you. What do you mean about interrupting the time stream and not being the right time and
Well,
Excuse me one moment. I'm gonna go change out of my armor into some regular clothes if we're gonna be here for a while.
yes, Samael, please, if you would all wish to be comfortable, we are all quite safe in this place if you all wish to relax and tend to your wounds. Chloe, do we have any more healing potions that we can give to these fine people? And you all hear the sound of clinking glass as Chloe has this bag over her shoulder. She suddenly just presents out of yet another bag, which was much smaller. She pulls this large bag out of the small bag and says, "Yep, got it right here." And she starts passing out healing potions to all of you. These healing potions are unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's like a jug. The glass bottles are enormous. They're even bigger in this little diminutive cat person's paws. And they will each, let's see, Oh gosh, now I have to look it up. Please, talk amongst yourselves.
Well, Samael's leaving to go change. He'll be back in a second.
Okay.
I guess Zito is going to take off his chain shirt. Is that what he has? It's his chain shirt. And he'll take a seat by the fire. Says, Red, does my nose look crooked to you?
Oh, goodness. Does it look crooked to me?
I don't know. I mean, I've taken a pretty hard blow to that with that mountain earlier. I'm pretty sure it might have broke my nose.
This one does not know if her vision should be trusted. This one is worse for wear, too. If anything, Iron Kobold, it speaks to your strength.
If you drink the potions, you will each receive 48 hit points back.
Nice.
As
48?
Yeah, 48. And as they're sitting, Quimnus is looking around at each of you with a very, very simple, soft smile. Just this look of almost admiration to each of you.
So where exactly are we?
Well, you are all... This might seem a little strange to you. You are all at the sanctuary, the Felis Clouder Sanctuary. It is a special place for planar travelers. And as he gestures up beyond in this blue sky, just a few wispy clouds above, you can see now, if you look directly above you, you see something incredible. You see a celestial body, planet.
And what's that up there?
Oh, let's see. Depending on the rotation, you might not see where you came from, but that's Eberron. He just sort of casually says, gesturing up straight up.
Are you sure this one has not died after all and reached the afterlife?
I think we might be dead, Red.
I can assure you that you are all very much alive. And I'm sorry for your loss, for your companions.
Is there anyone that can help to locate people here? Just so we can check. We didn't see them when they... I don't know if they're really dead or not.
And he says, oh, a location spell. Well, I can help you with that. What are you... Whom are you looking for?
Reuben and music. Reuben,
who would you like me to look for first?
I guess Reuben first.
And you watch as he pulls out a pouch from the side within his cloak and pulls out a few bits, odds and ends, and materials as he casts Locate Creature. You see, like it looks like a bit of a wad of fur, and he looks at you. He says, "This might take a while. I imagine that Samael will be done with his disrobement by the time I'm finished."
No worries. I guess we have time. Not sure how time works here.
And he says, after roughly an hour, Samael, do you come back?
Yes. Do you remember that time we attended the ball and Samael bought the nice black and silver outfit to wear?
I do. I don't know if anyone else does.
That's what Samael's currently wearing. And Samael walks up in a nice pair of pants and a jacket that's black and embroidered in silver thread. No armor, no skulls, no flames, just a nice black and silver outfit.
I almost don't recognize you, Samuel.
Yeah, I like to do this every once in a while to remind people that I'm still human.
So, is there anything that you wanted to do? You can't really interrupt him. It takes him an hour to do this. I'll just assume
Fred would seek out somewhere to like get cleaned up too.
Okay. The cats immediately are like attending to you, like almost like servants in a way.
I'm
And
their god.
it's a bit weird. Indy and Daisy are just enamored by the sight of them, and just Daisy in particular keeps like trying to pet Selfie, and Selfie just sort of absent-mindedly like just like pushes her hand away.
Oh.
So after an hour passes, if there wasn't anything else that you guys wanted to discuss with either of the creatures besides Quimnus or the giant construct, who is not sitting on one of the stone benches. He's far too big for the stone benches.
What exactly do you have power to intervene in situations of great peril to Eberron?
And who are you directing that towards? The construct?
Just anyone who's there.
The construct looks down at you and says, "It's good to see you again."
Have we met before?
Oh, not yet, but we will. I look forward
Unless
to
you
it.
count today.
Indeed. I'm so rude of me. You don't know who I am, do you?
No, I'm not a time traveler.
My name is George.
Wait, George? Like Eli's George?
Yes, my maker.
You get him out of prison?
That was ages ago.
Did I help?
Well, there are rules, Miss Aisha.
Kind of smart.
Things I can't really say. It's, there are rules, and he just continues, just sort of mumbles. He's like, and he says something under his breath, but with your passive perception, you're able to pick up. He says something. Probably shouldn't tell them about the monument.
Monument?
And he looks down at you, and if a construct could be surprised that it would have a mask of shock on its face that you overheard it. It thought it was being quiet enough that you wouldn't hear.
If I remember correctly, Samael's already been here before, right?
Yes, once.
Okay. I'm going to look at George. Go ahead and show him the monument, George.
Well, they saw it. Back there, the one that the little one was fixing. We just
Yeah, but it can't hurt for you to explain it a little more.
Oh. Well, I had it commissioned for my master. Even though...
You mean Eli, right?
Yes. Mr. Stormbringer, Master Stormbringer, he had a bit of a patchwork past. But although there were times when he was not seen favorably by some, his great deeds far outweighed anything else in his lifetime, and it was only right that I have it commissioned to be placed here. He is, after all, a hero of the prophecy.
One should have known the magic man was involved and had his hands tied up in fate.
The
Hi.
prophecy.
Hi, Red. Good to see you again.
And you've got your hands tied up in it as well.
This one will accept it blindly, and she reaches a paw out.
Your paw is
Our hand, whatever.
yeah. Your hand can grasp one of its fingers, so you can shake like its index finger. Like it lumbers towards you and reaches out an arm over the campfire to where you're seated with the children.
Answer this one question. Metal Man.
Okay, shoot.
How fares this one's relationship with the magic man? Does he stay on my good side?
Well, the actions of Master Stormbringer were mysterious. His intentions dubious, but he remembered his friends. And you all stood tall together over the years.
What he's not telling you, Red, is that y'all get married.
And you just hear this weird mechanical sounding chortling noise.
This one is not certain of much, but it would take more than magic to make such a ridiculous thing happen.
Ah, that was the laugh I needed.
The point I'm making, though, is don't put too much emphasis on fate. Our good friend here that's hosting us today is proof that it can be changed. It's really all going to be dependent on our actions. These gentlemen here are just seeing it from a different perspective than us.
So we'll say that an hour has gone by, unless you guys had more that you wanted to question the robot man over.
Now I'm just going to sit down and play my musical instrument.
Okay. Is that colorful euphemism?
No.
Okay,
Do you remember we talked about an instrument? I have a kalimba.
Okay. Zito, Red, Lithana, do you guys have any questions for the metal man before we continue?
Red would ask one final one. This one does not need specifics, but is this only the beginning of my journey yet to come?
The metal man just sort of leans back a bit, not quite recoiling, but just sort of tilting its head to the side. And it says, "There are many leagues to go on your journey yet to come."
Red would nod and go off to reflect for whatever time is left with the babies.
And he looks, the construct looks at you, Red, and adds, "But of course, decisions change all. time stream is always in a state of flux. Quimnus, you know this. And as he says that, Quimnus has ceased casting the spell, and he breathes heavily for a moment and rubs the side of his temple, and he says, he looks to you, Luthana, and he says, I'm afraid wherever your companions are, they are far beyond my reach. Ordinarily, a spell of this kind, I can only detect something up to over 1,000 feet away. Which, to be quite honest, I probably should have told you that we were many thousands of feet above your planet. Really, I just wanted to give you all a time to relax and get to revisit with George.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I forgot.
Well.
And he turns and he reaches into his bag once again, and he pulls out a hilt. And it is the hilt of a double-sided scimitar. And he says, I don't need this anymore, Auntie. And he gestures for you to take it from him, Luthana.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And he just sort of looks at you, allowing you to absorb what he's just said to him, to you.
Who was giving it to her?
The half-elven druid just handed you your scimitar. Your double-bladed scimitar. Or one that looks an awful lot like it.
She's just like, wait, what?
You heard him right. It's your nephew.
Well, I say all that to say, perhaps you would all like to hear a story to pass the time while they wait for Celestis to arrive. Chloe, you can recall it much better than I, isn't that right? And he gestures towards the cream-colored furred cat person, diminutive cat person, who says, Oh, I don't know about that, Quimnus. Selfie, why don't you start the story for our new friends? And the dark-furred cat, who has finished bandaging all of you from the remainder of your injuries, she wanders over towards the campfire, and she pulls out a little pouch, and she scatters a bit of silvery sand onto the campfire, and it immediately like responds to it, and says, This is the story of mighty heroes and dastardly villains, of magic and monsters. In a coastal land bordered by a tumultuous sea of swords. A great withering curse that has plagued both the poorest and the richest of folk had finally been broken. This story begins with a gathering of adventurers meeting for the very first time in the cozy little village of Phandalin. The fire burns brighter, and you can all now see images appearing in the fire of warriors, people in armor, retellings of great battles. And the story continues. The sound begins to become dulled, and you all feel as though you're all lulling and dropping off into a deep sleep as you all listen to this story as it fills your heads. The wind blowing through the cerulean grass, sound of the crackling fire. And that is where we will bring the campaign to a close. For now.
For a while.
Thank you guys. I know that was a little bit weird.
Yay.
Man, I thought I was gonna die in that fight. Thank you, Relentless Rage.
Right?
Wow.
I'm gonna miss that as a druid. I
Aw.
almost made a barbarian again. I love barbarians, but I was like, nah.
So would you guys like to know where Derek's character is?
Yeah.
Sure.
Derek's character is
Which one?
Reuven.
Okay.
He's about 3,000 miles away from you guys right now.
In the ocean.
Well, let me rephrase. He's about 3,000 miles from where you guys were
When we were on the
when you were on Eberron, correct?
He's in hell.
He is currently swimming towards a place called Farlnin. He is swimming through the Deathfinger channel with Adam's character. They are swimming towards the Fingerbone Mountains. In the frigid waters in the Deathfingers channel.
Nice.
Meanwhile, you guys are apparently floating in space above the planet Eberron.
I would also like to point out that he's swimming with disadvantage in that heavy armor.
That's true.
That's
It's a good thing he has a good old samurai buddy who doesn't know to help him. Perfect strangers. Well, thank you guys. I know that bringing the campaign to an end here, at least for now, was a choice that I did not make lightly. Originally, I'd planned to take a vacation from running it and then coming back. And ultimately, I just decided that I had run out of juice for the Eberron campaign. And I decided that I needed to, switch things up. Which is why we're going to do something a little different for a while.
I'll tell you what, though, it's been a long way since we first got on that lightning car on the way to Sharn.
Right? I mean, I'm
It
sure...
really has.
I'm sure, and the truth be told, Kevin, you and Ryan are really the only characters from that original group.
Yeah.
Derek, how you feeling?
I don't know, but his arms are sure tired.